Did you know that we have a YCS this weekend? Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. I've been underneath a rock because I thought we were done with events for the year, but no. YCS, what is it, Bologna? I'm just with the rest of the community over here in the corner calling it YCS Bologna, whatever. But this is the advent of the Fire King structure deck touching down. You know, Kong's Cards ran 7 days of tournaments showcasing the awesome might of the Fire King structure deck and genuinely showcased, you know, how that deck is going to look for the future of the meta. And actually, contrary to what popular people demands might think out here, deck actually looks pretty interesting. I'm liking what we're actually kind of seeing out here with the deck. You know what I mean? Like, what else is there for excitement left in the meta? Because right now we're in that meta dead zone. Like, this just de-escalated very quickly. We're in that time where everybody's looking around. They're like, oh, well, you know, Phantom Nightmare's coming out. Poppius and things is gonna, you know, escalate Fire Kings to a whole nother level literally next month. But for what remains of this meta, you still have, I would say, 20, putting Flunder as the 20th deck and looking at how the top 20 decks of, you know, top 10 Rogue, you honestly do have 20 decks right now in the room that can do well. Now, that's not also, you know, considering Rika Sun Avalon, who missed the list, and that's the European special at this point. So I do feel like, obviously, we're right back in the European YCS, which means you can bet your butt the Rika Sun Avalon's going to come on back here, and it's going to sit at the dinner table. It's going to go, well, everybody, you know, time is back. You know, it's time to see what more we can do with the meta. So, you know, if you're looking at this weekend's YCS, you're like, you know, I actually wonder how Fire Kings are going to do. The real question that you should be asking yourself is, how is Rika Sun Avalon going to do? That is our real pick. I think that's the real question. Like, genuinely, can the European special maintain a foothold as the meta continues to evolve? But now back to the recent thing here. I mean, Fire King's entering into the meta here, and you have these 20 plus decks. Now, obviously, half of those probably aren't even going to top. All right, like, let's be realistic. There's a reason why they're called rogue decks in the other half of the category. And this will also be the first time that we will get to see how Centurion will hold up on the bigger stage. Now, Centurion does have regional tops already. All right, I keep reading the infinite comment pool from people going, no, Centurion's bad. It's one of the top 20 decks in the room. All right, like, you have to understand when you're looking at the scope of, you know, the meta, you have three best decks. All right, like, I don't think anybody's going to argue that. Unchained Tier and Rescue Ace feel like the three best decks in the room. And then everything else kind of fits in among, you know, you have the lower mid-range, and then you have the lower half of Tier 1, and then you escalate up. Once again, I mean, Centurion sits in that pool of decks because it can do well. That's the thing that people need to understand. All right, it doesn't have to be the absolute best Tier 1 deck with the way that the game is designed right now. It just has to be better than the other bad decks to get a chance to sit at that dinner table. That's honestly the boldest thing that anybody can say about Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. Robbie, the format's so diverse, it's so trash. Who cares? All right, I understand that diversity can be very discouraging for people because those are way more things that you need to be prepared for. All right, like, let's call it what it is. All right, like, you go to an event and you're not prepared for Exosister, and Exosister 2 scrapes you off the ground. Well, 20 decks. You know, it's the same thing. You know, like, you made a bad meta call by not being prepared for the lower half of Rogue. All right, and then right now, I hate to say this too, but one of the most cop-out answers that I can say about this current meta is, hey, there will be some matchups that are going to be unfun. Hi, I'm playing Runic Stun. If I play against a purely player, I'm ready to scoop up my cards. If they drop Nor on me and I lose the dice roll. Alright, that's just how it is. Alright, it's kind of the same thing in some other matchups too. I mean, like, if Tyr God mills me into the ground, alright, well, go into the day, is what it is. Like, that's, and people look at this current game and they're like, hey, I do understand people want new, like, tier 1 decks to come in and smash the meta. When you're bringing in mid-range decks, I understand that, it doesn't really change the top scale of things. That's, what the next edition of Snake Eyes Support's supposed to do. It's going to take Rescue Ace, Fire Kings, and it's going to, kind of spin around here, do some swerving, and maybe knock Unchained off its pedestal just a little bit. I mean, Transaction Rollback Bonfire are also coming. All right, you need to be aware of these. All right, you're giving Fire a literal searcher. All right, like, you can't tell me that that's not going to bump that deck up. Consistency upgrades do a lot for the game. All right, and if you think it otherwise, you're crazy. That's all there is to it. All right, consistency upgrades are what make this game what it is. And so going into this weekend for YCS, I think your three biggest question things are going to be how Centurion is going to hold up to the meta on the grand stage, how consistently can the deck bypass hand traps and attempt to play the game. All right, that's actually incredibly important. How Fire Kings, with most people not having any real time to play test, I say that, but we already know that people are going to be play testing. They've already found methods to kind of play the deck. Yeah, there's that. And then the wild card of Rika Sun Avalon, and how Europeans still don't know how to play against that deck. I think those are the biggest things, because the rest of the meta is stagnant at this point in time. You know what the craziest part about this weekend would be? If Konami pulled the BS that they pulled during the previous event, and they read the entire ban list on stream to people. You know how many people would lose their minds? All right, and we are at the point right now that you have to be aware that we are kind of sitting at a junction for a possible ban list. Konami, will be out of the office near the end of the month, probably about Christmas, so that whole week and a half through New Year's, you're not going to see anything. And I always will read the comments from people like, oh no, my dad's uncle's nephew's cousin's aunt's, doll that he got at the store, told me the ban list is going to be New Year's. No, it's not. All right. I think this is one of the last opportunities for us to get a list to change things up. And the OCG ban list will be coming out at the end of the month. So while things might look a little bit stagnant right now, changes on the horizon, we've also got more news coming out here in the coming week for the upcoming set. And Jump Festa as well. That's a lot of moving parts coming out here to get excited about. Yugi's cards were a fantastic thing to be excited about, for sure. But, with the YCS on the horizon here, and the next core set about to drop, Jump Festa coming down the pipeline, there is this month for the game. It's starting off rough, but I think there's a lot more excitement to genuinely come. So, who do you think is going to walk away the winner for this weekend's YCS? Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Personally, I'm thinking it's either going to be Unchained or Rescue Ace. Somebody's going to be like, Robbie, it's going to be Rika Sun Avalon. You bet your sweet Bippy. And I'm going to be, I wouldn't be surprised at this point in time. If it is in the stars, then yes, we will see a strange victory to Rika Sun Avalon. But outside of that, don't discount Fire Kings out of the top cut just because, they don't have the crazy consistency of Bonfire and the rest of the good cards. Because, underestimating a deck is being caught with your pants down and you end up just horrified along the way. We've seen plenty of examples of that on this channel. So please, comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.